at this gentleman, which is a communist content creator. Like he's a writer. He has this fascist communist take where it's like everything within the revolution and nothing against the revolution. Like he's an edgy boy, and he's basically saying, and this was back in the day when you had the riots. He's saying that one thing about me is if I see a customer shoplifting, I pretend I didn't. Right? Like pillar of the community. You want this guy as your neighbor. If you start a business, you want more individuals like this chap rather than less. But recently, and this is on February 16, he says being forced to ask an employee to unlock a toothbrush, toothpaste, or deodorant and shampoo is actually insane. Fuck capitalism. So you have the person that is planting the seeds, right? On this Twitter meme, gravity actually exists. Like this is under the earth. These are the seeds that have been planted, and these are the growth, right? This is what you have to reap. Many such cases, by the way. I am fascinated that this isn't the only individual, and this is the main issue and the main problem with people that try to engineer society. Because you see, there are some human beings out there that can't sleep at night unless they try to control what the masses do. Right? So they want to control your mother, they want to control your grandfather, they want to control your sister. Like they have the perfect plan. They know how to arrange society. And in this situation, in order to arrive to that plan, is to make sure that he doesn't see criminals, right? And it's not that he just posts this for himself. No, like he encourages other people to turn a blind eye when you see the medieval looting and pillaging of stores. It's almost like the stores are a thing to be conquered. It's the conquest, right? Like you need to go in there, invade the store, and plunder so you can bring the riches back to your family. Like this is the mentality of the Dark Ages that is being promoted by these individuals. And the thing they never take into account, the thing that they don't even realize can happen, is that the victims of the crime can move their own pieces. Like they can readjust in order to, live in the new environment. So basically what you're saying is that you want a society where shoplifting is not stigmatized, right? Like saying the N-word is a more atrocious and horrible thing than to actually commit a crime, right? Like as a society, we need to be abhorred at words, but actions not so much. So you don't condemn crime. You don't want the police to stop the crime. The lawmaker, especially in California, goes like, well, if you're stealing less than $900, it's a slap on the wrist, so we're not going to prosecute. I mean, you have prosecutors refusing to prosecute. You have, like imagine the police, all right? Imagine the police. You're facing a hardcore criminal, which just shoplifted, then you have to stop him. In many cases, you are putting your life on the line as a cop, right? Because you don't know. Maybe the guy has a knife. Maybe the guy has a gun. Maybe he gets violent, and by the time backup arrives, he manages to beat your ass, right? Like, you don't know these things. So you as a cop, it's your job to put your safety at the risk for society and try to stop the thief. So now that you manage to stop him, maybe you have a brown eye or something, right? He manages to go to jail, and he gets released with no bail. And you see him on the street the next day. Maybe he's even mocking you. Like, imagine what he thinks. And he's robbing again. Can you imagine just how demoralizing that would be? Like, pretend you're a construction worker and you have to build a wall, and at night someone just comes in and wrecks your wall time and time again. It's very demoralizing. At one point, you start wondering, like, what's even the point? Why shouldn't I just stay in the cop car and eat the donuts while the community suffers? I mean, they want to live like this, obviously. I mean, they vote for these politicians. This is what they want, right? And what they want, which is the store owners going like, okay, so we can't rely on the cops. Society isn't going to do anything. If we try to stop one of them, we end up getting fired by corporate. CNN, is going to make a video if we have a security guard that's roughhousing one of these criminals. So what are the options? Well, the options seem to be either to close down stores, and then you have like the food deserts, much to the dismay and horror of the Democrats, or you end up, locking up stores, because when you, as a society, think that the criminal is the victim, then society becomes victimized. And this is what is happening, right? Like, society is becoming victimized because of the actions of a few. Well, it's mostly like the politicians because again, we don't have this shit in Romania. This shit doesn't exist in Eastern Europe, and I think like this shit is like a novelty that's specific to Scat Francisco, Chicago, and many other such places. In the rest of the world, like no, supermarkets don't look like this. Like there is a way of living outside. I don't like America is so progressive, forward thinking, with the Democrats at the helm, showing humanity the new way to the future. But maybe you have forgotten some of the things down the way. Like you don't have to live like this. Like no, this is not normal, right? Like it's called a convenience store. Like it's supposed to be convenient. I don't need to ask a shopkeeper for the toothbrush. Now, granted, in my country, like the things that are like extremely valuable, like if you go into a jewelry store, or maybe if you go into a high tech store and you're trying to get like the latest generation of iPhone, yeah, I mean they have those under lock and key, and you do have to like call a customer in order to give it to you. But like the toothpaste, no, it's not, no, like you don't have to live like that. And the reason entirely due to leftist policy. Like they have normalized this, right? The same people that freak out, it's like, oh, we can't have racist jokes like South Park because it normalizes racism. We can't have like sexist jokes because it normalizes sexism. But when you actually have books that are on Amazon in defense of looting, that doesn't normalize shit, does it? When you have like people that are influencers and content creators justifying shoplifting, that doesn't normalize anything, does it? No, that's just like in the ether. That's in the vacuum. That just doesn't exist. Okay, yes. And of course it's capitalism to blame, right? Like people being allowed. This is what the leftists can't stand at night. The word allowed, right? Like people being allowed to free trade. It's like I have something, you have something, can we exchange it? No, they can't sleep at night because that's happening. And because that's happening, this is a consequence, right? Like stores are now under lock and key, much to the dismay and horror of the communist agitator. I mean, dude, you can't even make this up. Like you have a book called In Defense of Looting, and it's on Amazon. But meanwhile, there were books that were being burned and banned. Anything that was against the fascismus of the pandemic, right? I'm not talking about vaccines or what. No, but like you need to show papieren. You go to McDonald's, show papieren to your waiter. Your waiter needs to see your medical record. Like if you're against that shit, book banned. If you are against anything, like if you're promoting anything that's remotely populistic in nature, right? Like maybe I'm okay with immigration, but it should be legal and there should be a number to it. Oh no, ban the book, burn the book, right? So like those books are bad, but books that are like literally calling for criminal activity, that's fine. Yeah, and then again, when you normalize it and society thinks it's normal, you have laws that are passed. Like for example, laws that prevent police officers chasing criminals that stole more than $1,000 worth of goods, that type of shit. And it will continue. It will continue until morale improves. Take into account, like, no one has to do business in these neighborhoods. Like, if you're going to encourage people to pillage and rob their own stores, why don't you start a business there then? Like, why don't you? Like, it's the food desert. You know what that is? A business opportunity, right? Like, if there's not a single store in the area, not a single store to be found, business opportunity. Start a business there. See how it goes. And let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.